Welcome back to video number 6. In the previous video, we talked about why you need a brand. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 7 steps to making that brand. Alright, so 7 steps.
Should we tell them what they are first and then maybe give a little detail about each one?
Sure. Alright, so step 1, self-reflection.
Hope you're writing this down.
Take notes. Step 2, continuous learning. Step 3, create your mission statement. Step 4, build relationships. Step 5, prepare your marketing tools. Step 6, develop your pitch, and not for baseball. And finally, step 7, follow up. So let's talk about each of these individually. Let's go back to step 1 and self-reflection.
Alright, so this one's my favorite stuff.
Okay.
Self-reflection.
Get a mirror.
Yeah.
Look at yourself. No.
This is all about me. And so we're going to love the self-reflection step. And, you know, honestly, I don't think we spend a lot of time when we think about getting a job about looking at ourselves and our own values. I just, I get out of school, I want that job.
We do, and I also think that many of us struggle with self-promotion and determining good things that we have done. It's much easier to downplay those good qualities, and so in step 1, we're asking you, make a list.
Yeah.
And start thinking about the positive
know
things
what you're
that
starting with.
That's right. You have skills. All of you have skills. And you need to make sure that you put them on your list. So give us some examples of things that might be on your list. Me.
Yes, of course, my great friendships. So if we think about identifying and listing all our past accomplishments or achievements, things we've done well at work, even, silly things, like, get that all down there. Like, I was faculty queen at one of my schools. At the Winter Carnival.
Very nice.
Little tiara and everything. Now, that's something silly. I might not think of putting it on a professional resume or anything like that. But it'd be part of my list because it's just something kind of cool.
Well, and in a funny way, it does fall into gets along well with others.
Yeah.
Because they didn't vote you the ice queen.
No, that's true. Very good point.
So, and so sometimes those very funny things that you might not think fit really do. So put them down. Put them down. We all have good qualities. I happen to be a person who loves to be on time. I don't always accomplish it, but I love to be punctual. Well, an employer likes punctual people.
Yeah.
They like people to be where they say they're going to be when they say they're going to be there. And so, I've been known to drive around the block because I'm 5 minutes early because I want to be there right at the moment I said I would be there. That might be a little.
And we appreciate that.
That she's driving around the block, maybe.
No, you're not, of course. But then we think about, don't limit the scope of, I'm applying to X job, so I can only think of experiences that affect that. Because you'll be surprised at the experiences you've had and how they fit in.
Absolutely. So, I have children. You have children.
I do.
And one of the things that I think having children teaches you faster than any other job in the world is how to multitask.
I was thinking that exact thing. I thought I was a great multitasker.
Yes, exactly. It also teaches you how to prioritize because it's not possible to get everything done. It's just not possible.
No.
And so some things.
And it's okay.
And it's okay, absolutely. And so sometimes you have to say, this is what's really important, and this is not.
So sometimes, if I think of a list, if I'm, just finishing my degree and I'm getting ready to go, the fact that maybe I was a single mom and finished my degree
Absolutely.
with a couple kids, I think that's an accomplishment. That should be on the list.
Because that shows perseverance, that shows an ability to work hard. There's lots of things in your life experiences that are going to translate into your career. And so it's very important to make that self-reflection really, really think about.
And it doesn't have to be just education or job related. When I think of you, Joan, the fact that you've done a triathlon, it shows commitment to training, time management, grit,
a bit of insanity, perhaps. Yes.
Ability to, adjust and change and things like that. And when you're in an exciting education environment like we get to teach in, you need endurance.
You do. And another thing.
No one would necessarily think triathlete, English teacher.
That's right. And another thing I think is overcoming fears.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, when I stood on that starting line and I had to jump into that lake, as much swimming as I had done, I was convinced I was going to drown. I was going to be swum right underneath by all these people. So, I think we do have to take our personal experiences and make a good, thorough list.
Yeah.
And think about what we have.
Start with a list of things that you've done, that you feel good about. And then make another list.
Mm-hmm.
And think about areas that you could further develop.
Right. Things that, maybe you started it and, you think this would be a good thing to finish. And small things.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me personally, there's some classes on technology that I know if I took them, I'd be just that much better at it.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's say I want to go for this certain type of job or employment, and I don't have a certain amount of professional experience. Like, is there an internship I could do to do it? Is there an online class I could take just so I get more comfortable with the verbiage or something?
Absolutely.
What's like, maybe I don't like public speaking. I didn't like public speaking at all when I first started teaching.
And yet you become a drama major.
I know. I never said logic was on my list at certain points, but what can I do? I used to watch TED Talks over and over and watch the way they spoke just because it helped me learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
And then I became a bartender, which terrified me because I had to talk in front of people.
Yeah, and you did. And not always people you wanted to talk to.
Oh, often not. But I learned to talk to a lot of different people, put myself out there.
And make sure that you keep adding to the list as you have experiences. These aren't static lists. They're lists that grow as you grow and you have new experiences.
Yeah, and then, so you got that. And another thing to do, and this is something you can ask, your parents are a great reference for this, or your, boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or whatever. Ask them, what makes you special? What do they think you do that is noteworthy?
Yeah.
How do you contribute? Because it's great to get that outside perspective, because maybe they see something that you don't even realize you're that great at.
Right. So always good to ask others. And think about what it is that they say in comparison to your own impression.
Yeah, they'll help you find your edge. And once you figure out what that is, you'll be able to play it up. They'll help you with your brand.
So now let's move on to step 2. We've done our self-reflection.
We've reflected on self-reflection.
We've reflected, and now we need to turn away from the mirror and look at continuous learning. All right, so
sounds boring.
It does. I once read a statistic about the number of people who continue to read after they graduate from college, and it's sadly small.
Oh.
Sad.
Not our students.
Not our students. And here's the thing. Heather and I have both accomplished a master's degree,
True.
so we're done, right? We don't have to learn another thing our whole lives. Not. And here's something that becoming an instructor I learned, is that I learn from my students as much as my students learn from me.
Definitely.
People have unique perspectives and ways of looking at things that I never thought of. And then I look at it that way and I think, I never saw it that way. How neat. So we are always continuously learning.
Especially the areas that we're going into here, the type of professionals you want to be. These are areas that are constantly changing. The legal profession changes all the time based on different decisions and fitness. Think about the fitness advice they were giving people 20 years ago versus now.
Exactly.
If you were still going off what you learned in school.
And so
the medical coding, the technology, you got to stay up on that.
That's right. And so you have to stay current. It's not enough to just get your education and then sit back and think, I'm done, I'm good. Because somebody is going to come along with more education or newer thoughts, and you're going to be out like a dinosaur.
And you can't just sit back and say, I don't have time.
No.
When we're talking about branding, we're not just talking about the branding for right now. This is a lifelong journey.
Absolutely. So how do we do it? Where do we start?
What are some things you do?
Oddly enough, I would start with the internet. Or, I have a commute.
Something I didn't use at all when I was in college, by the way.
Exactly, me either. I think about my commute to work. So I have some choices. I sit down in my car, I can turn on music, and I can just listen to, the same song that I've heard over and over again.
That new Jay-Z album you've been spinning.
Yeah. Or I can turn on NPR, and I can listen to the world news, and to events, and to articles, and things, and get some new perspectives. It's a very easy thing to do. Read. read.
Yeah, not just, even stuff with pictures is okay.
That's right. It doesn't really matter what you're reading, but read. And particularly read about your field. Read about what other people are doing. Read about improvements. I think that that's one of the biggest things that we can do. Oftentimes once you have a job, and maybe it's a job and not your career. Maybe it's the job that you have right now. Maybe your employer offers workshops or...
Oh yeah, workshops, conferences. These are great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Take advantage of them.
Yeah, even the virtual ones can
Right,
be incredible
right.
networkers.
Yes, so I think it's very important that you really think about continuously learning. And because sometimes that learning takes you places that you just never thought about, into a career that you never thought about.
And with that, if you're new in a field and you want that expertise, get a mentor.
Absolutely.
When I first started teaching, I was fortunate enough to work with some master teachers, and I went and sat in their classes. I followed them around. I took their classes. I just watched them and watched them to try to learn. Now, I know you're thinking, well, I don't have a lot of time, I can't do something like that, but even just sitting with someone for an hour and just watching what they do. Informational interviews are great for this.
Yeah, yeah. So I think the biggest thing that we can stress is keep learning and keep learning. Now, of course, you're in college, so you're learning right now. You've fulfilled that one.
Yeah.
But make sure that afterwards you keep doing it.
It's going to have, because your brand is going to, it's not like a logo. It's not like you're set with just that thing. But even if you think of like the Apple logo, how many ways it's changed, the way it looks, that's your brand.
Absolutely.
It's always going to be developing and changing. I didn't walk out of college being like, I'm going to be an innovative online educator.
Right.
No,
right.
That's not where I started. I actually started as an art history instructor at a traditional Brown college.
And if you go and you look at logos, particular signs, one that pops into my head, oddly enough, is Arby's. And if you think about their signage, like from the 70s, and then to today, they've modernized and they've kept up. They've continually learned, and they appeal to the audiences today.
And if they hadn't changed, maybe they'd have a vintage or retro look. But,
right.
But if you're in fitness, you don't want to have a vintage or retro look.
Get rid of that. What was that material that sweatsuits were originally made out of, like terry cloth? Get rid of that. No. No. All right, so let's move on to step 3. Creating your mission statement. That's number 3. So you've reflected, you've made a commitment to continuously keep learning and increasing those lists, and so now it's time to create your mission statement.
Now if you go back several sessions, you may have remembered a class called English 101. It was the first class you ever took at Bryan. And in this class, you were asked to make a personal mission statement your first week.
Absolutely.
Go back, find that document. Let's see if you still have it. You can pause this, we'll wait. And with that, you saw a direction that you wanted to go. And now it's kind of your chance to look at that again and create a new mission statement. You're getting closer to graduation. Where's your brand right now?
Right. You want to keep it limited to no more than 2 sentences.
Which is shorter than we initially asked you. When you first started, we asked you for 250 words, but now we're saying narrow it down. Where is your focus?
30 words. Narrow it down. Because, here's a little hint for when you apply for a job. Employers don't have time to read lots and lots and lots of things. They want it in bullet points, and they want it quick, and they want it obvious.
Yes.
So get rid of the wordiness, make it concise.
So it could be enough to say, my personal career mission is to become a world-class professional personal trainer.
My personal career mission is to become a court reporter for federal trials.
Yeah.
Specific, concise. Right?
Nice focus there.
That's
And
right.
you're focusing on, here's a good way to look at it. What do you want to be doing the first 3 to 5 years of your career? It's not what you want to end up doing at the end of your life. Like, my personal mission statement wouldn't be that I want to, when I'm in my 80s, be driving around a Jeep and off-roading. That is maybe what I want to do when I'm in my 80s. But for right now, what is it you want to do for the 3 to 5 years? And my personal mission statement is I want to be an innovative online instructor.
Absolutely.
It's that easy.
Absolutely. So create that mission statement. Focus. Because you can't accomplish anything if you're confused. So get that mission statement concise and focused so you know where you're focused.
It might help you, some of you, if you're visual learners, think of it as a vision statement. Close your eyes. What do you look like doing the job you want to do? Now put that in words. Start with that image.
Absolutely. All right. Step number 4, build relationships.
All right. Oh, networking.
Network. You've already started. You're here at Bryan, and you have classmates. And those classmates are all over the country. And they are involved in all kinds of industries. And they're going to graduate close to or at the same time as you do, and they're going to become your colleagues. Perhaps not in the same gym if you're in fitness, but the innovations and the techniques that you've learned put you together, all right, as well as your alma mater. But you need to build relationships outside of classmates as well. So how do you do it?
There's a couple different ways. First, when you graduate, don't let these relationships disappear.
Absolutely.
Anyone here on Facebook? LinkedIn?
Right.
We have all these online social media things.
Use the social media. Social media is huge, and it's where people are. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people check Facebook every day. So, don't just think of it as something that's annoying or wastes your time. Think of it as a way to connect with lots of people.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, and I don't have the statistic in front of me specifically, but a good majority of people find a job through these relationships.
Yeah.
It's much more difficult to get a job by simply submitting a resume to a company blindly.
I think it's like less than 5%.
Yeah.
Of people who do that actually get the job. It's all about, who you know.
Who do you know?
And think about how many people you already know in your industry just based on being here.
That's right.
What are you doing to cultivate your relationship with your professors? Do you turn your work in on time? Do you follow directions? Are you attentive to the details of, what is expected of you?
Right.
Your professors are already working in that industry. They can be an incredible reference, and they can open a door for you, and they want you to succeed. How are you performing in the classroom? What are you doing?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they become reference letters later. So you definitely want to spend the time impressing them.
And never take the attitude, I don't really want to be a physiologist. I'm not going to do my best in my physiology class. Who knows who this person knows? You never know who your professors know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think one that is sometimes overlooked is community organizations.
Oh, great point, Joan. Yeah, definitely.
Volunteer.
Volunteer.
Get out and volunteer, and you will be amazed how many people you will meet and the people that they know.
And you already have something in common. You're volunteering for the same cause.
Right. Absolutely. So make sure that you build those relationships.
Yeah, because how did you get your job here, Bryan? Did you know someone?
I knew someone.
How did I get mine?
You knew someone.
Yep.
And so, and there you have it.
And they spoke highly of us.
That's right.
We got the job because we were fantastic when we
That's
interviewed.
right. That's right.
But we'll get to that in the interviewing portion. But it also helped that we had built a network of people who had worked with us previously or knew of us previously.
Exactly.
And
knew.
Not too bad.
That's right. And knew the qualities of the person that they're hiring. Because now, again, switch sides of the desk. Think about yourself as the person hiring someone. If your good friend is telling you this is a reliable person, this is a person who's a hard worker, or you have the file next to it where the person sounds good but nobody knows them,
yeah,
you're more likely to go with the known. And that's what happens when people hire. So make sure you're building those relationships.
Will never hurt you.
Never. All right.
Ready for step 5?
Step 5, prepare your marketing tools. So
right.
What are your marketing tools?
Let's see. The dreaded resume.
Cover letter.
Yeah.
References.
Yeah, people who speak highly of you. That's nice. My mission, my vision. I have a teaching vision. I have.
Okay. Yep.
I give
Absolutely. Absolutely. Educational philosophy. Right. I have a philosophy. You have a vision. I have a philosophy.
LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn account.
Yes. Also, for all of those of you who raised your hand and said that you had Facebook, go take a look at it and remove all the pictures of you at a bar.
And no red pillow cup pictures.
and all the inappropriate bridal party pictures and other things that a potential employer might say, wow, they spend a lot of time at the bar on the weekends.
Yeah, and think about who you're applying to. Some things,
Absolutely.
like that we wouldn't consider. Think about the 3 things you're never supposed to talk about in a bar. It's religion, politics, and sport. But
Well, unless you're at the bar. If
Yeah,
if it's a
but-
sports team, then I suppose
Yeah.
it'd be okay.
All
All right.
Everyone in there has agreed to root for the Cardinals, then you're all right.
And then you're
There's
okay.
always
Yes.
someone on the other side. So
Exactly.
think about things that people can be sensitive on.
Right.
You might have really strong beliefs and are an eloquent Facebook poster of those beliefs, but I'm pretty sure no Facebook post on politics has ever changed anyone's mind on something.
That's true. And so
And
go back for a moment to step 4. You've built these relationships. Even if you think that they can't see your Facebook page,
Oh, you were wrong.
you're wrong. Wrong. Clean it up.
Unless
Make sure
you've
it's
figured
clean.
out the matrix of Facebook privacy policies, then please can you help me as well?
Yes. Better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, it
Right.
is. I mean, people Google.
They absolutely. Another thing. Think about the message you have on your answering machine.
Or your voicemail.
Or your voicemail. Yeah, I guess it's not an answering machine anymore. Dating myself. Your voicemail. Is it professional? Or is it funny and silly and something that might put off a potential employer?
Do you have a favorite student voicemail story?
I've had a few where, I really think one of them that I encounter this quite a bit is, and I think it's Verizon. Listen to this ringback tone while we connect to your party. And then something screaming comes on in my ear, and I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
So, consider these things.
Kill the ringback tone.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
My favorite, I have a student with a ringback tone who then finished the song
Oh.
as his actual voicemail.
Oh.
It never ended.
I really do think that the ones where they act like they're answering and then it goes to the voicemail need to be eliminated.
Yeah. Not good for the professional.
No. And one other thing that I think in those marketing tools, think about your email.
Your email address, yeah.
Absolutely.
And we'll go over all this again when we get to resumes as well. But
Right.
just, right now, take a peek at your email.
Make sure it's professional. It really should just be your name.
I'll
And
tell you some of my favorites, but I don't think I'm allowed to.
yeah. Sometimes I'm a little shocked.
Yeah.
So
I
think
blush when I read them.
Exactly. That's really you're saying so much more than you realize.
Yeah, and think about what you're promoting about yourself with those.
Absolutely.
I know fitness industry is all about sometimes the way you look, but Hot Susie 66, not a good idea.
No, definitely not. All right.
So that's our marketing tools. Now let's talk about delivery.
Developing your pitch.
Step 6.
Step 6. So imagine for a moment that you know that you are stuck in the elevator, or you're just in the elevator, not even stuck, with the guy who's just going to determine if you get the job or not.
You have 30 seconds.
What would you say?
Nice weather we're having.
Yeah. Don't start singing. Particularly not that song from the voicemail. Oh, you're that guy.
Start with research. Know that company. Know
Absolutely.
that company's mission values. Know that company direction they want to go. Know what they're looking for in an employee.
Absolutely.
They tell you. They put it on their website.
Absolutely. And in speaking to the jobs that you and I have here, how bad would it have been if on my cover letter I said, well, I just couldn't imagine teaching online. Well, guess what?
That would have been a killer. Yeah.
Because I would not have researched what the school was, and it would have been extremely obvious. So you want to make sure that you know, what is this company? Where are they located? How many employees do they have? Is it a big company? Is it a small company? Do they profess family values? These are all very important things to know before you make that pitch.
And incorporate it into your own personal mission statement.
Absolutely.
Because you should be wanting to work for a place that shares your values. It's not a hard thing to think about.
Right.
I love teaching. I love technology. I like learning new technology. One of part of Brian's mission statement is to be innovative in education. Wow.
Well, it's a
It wasn't a
perfect
big
fit.
stretch.
No, not at all. Not at all. I can see the value of an online education. And I think that that's a way to reach many people who couldn't go to a traditional college. And I like being part of that vision. So for me, it was a great fit.
Think about who your potential competitor is for a job. What do they look like, and how are you different? How are you better?
You know, in developing your pitch, think about how your appearance is going to come across to the potential employer.
Yeah, if you're really stuck in that elevator, what are you wearing?
Yeah. Jeggings? No.
No, not jeggings.
Strike them from your wardrobe now.
Do not go to your interview in jeggings.
No. You know, it's funny, I'll tell a funny interview story. I went to my interview here, and it was a successful interview, but I was nervous and I was wearing a bracelet, and I'm toying with the bracelet, and at some point the bracelet went flying off and kind of somewhere landed on the floor. And I remember I completely ignored it and pretended that it didn't happen. I left the interview and I left my bracelet there.
Awesome.
Because I could not figure out how to retrieve it from the floor without calling attention to how nervous I was.
Maybe they just won't notice. No, but that's a good thing to talk about. It's just dress. It's part of your brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we got our pitch. We got our tools. What's our final step?
Follow up.
They say the fortune is in the follow-up.
Oh, very nice. I like that. So, if your potential employer calls, call them back
Yes.
right away.
Email them back.
Email them back.
Quickly. As quick as you can.
Absolutely.
Some might say immediately. Why? Why would I want to do this immediately?
Well, it establishes trust.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and it says to that employer, they're on top of it. If 3 days goes by, they start to wonder, did they give you the right phone number? Did this message even get to you? Are you really interested in working for them, or was it just kind of a meh? So if you're really interested, respond quickly.
And, you know, what if they call you back and ask you for the references? How long do you wait to respond?
Exactly.
You do it right away.
Right away.
Because that shows you're responsible.
Right away. Write a thank you note.
Oh, yes. Nice touch. And you can just do an email. That's accepted. You don't have to get out, you know, the Hallmark card.
Recognize that the person who interviewed you took time to do it.
Even if you're not going to take the job, after the interview you
Yeah.
decide it's not a good match, you never know who else that person knows.
Right. Right.
Always to thank them for their time.
Yep.
And, you know, they can also now be part of your network, and so you want to keep in touch.
What happens if you don't want the job? They offer and then suddenly you find out, oh, they're not really paying me very much. My current job pays me more. I'd have to do all these other things that I didn't realize. Do you just walk away and never look back and say, well, sorry I ever wasted my time?
No, never do that.
Never. Because you're building a relationship even if you're not hired by that employer.
Yeah, I had to decline a job once just because, honestly, it didn't fit my son's daycare schedule.
Nothing.
And so I was very honest about it.
Nothing wrong with saying, thank you very much,
Yeah.
I appreciate the offer, but at this time, I'm just not able to accept.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
It lets that employer know that you were serious and you weren't wasting their time.
And if someone gives you a lead about a job, follow up on it. Even if you're like, oh, I don't know, maybe, maybe not. Follow up. 80% of leads are not followed up on.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good
So
point.
it's all about the follow-up.
So make sure that you're following up. These are the 7 steps to personal branding.
Step 1,
Self-reflection,
step 2,
continuous learning,
step 3,
creating a mission statement,
step 4,
build those relationships,
step 5,
prepare your marketing tools,
step 6,
develop your elevator pitch,
Yeah.
or just your pitch.
and step 7.
Follow up, follow up, follow up.
Next, we're going to talk about
Brand
talking about?
maintenance.
Oh, the exciting brand maintenance.